Hello everybody and welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations. Today, we are in court. Good morning, Mr. Wright. Good morning, Maggie. So, what do you think is going to happen today, sir? Yesterday's session didn't go so well and ended on a giant mystery. That's true. And we still haven't solved a single part of it yet. Are you okay, Nick? Huh? Oh, yeah, of course. I saw that little flash of doubt in your eyes. No, that wasn't doubt. That was, determination. Why don't I believe you? I guess because you have trust issues? It's nearly time, Maggie. You better get going to the defendant's seat. Roger, don't let me down, Mr. Wright. I'm counting on you. I will try my hardest. Hey, pal! Hey, Detective Gumshoe. Quit stressing Maggie out. She doesn't need that. How'd you know she was stressed? I was watching through the doorway. Oh. You look like you lost the case already. Show a bit of confidence, will you, pal? Yeah, maybe this will help. Oh, that will help. Finally, I've been wondering what that was. Huh? Have you taken up aromatherapy too? Not in a million years, pal. Don't tell me that you don't remember this thing. Come to think of it, that doesn't look like one of those aromatherapy bottles. This is a small bottle that turned up in Trivian's kitchen a couple days ago. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, this one's a little different. We finally got the analysis result back from the lab. So, what is it? Is it the poison? I'm afraid not, pal. It's medication. Oh, is this the ear medication? Yeah, for ears. Topical use only, apparently. For ears? You mean... Yeah, it's the medication Glenn Elg was using for his ruptured eardrum. What was Glenn Elg's ear medicine doing in the kitchen? What about the unidentified fingertips? Anything on that? Someone screwed up, so they only had time to analyze the contents of the bottle. Another hour and they might have gotten something on the prints, but... that's gonna weaken its impact as a piece of evidence. Okay, pal, this is it. Make sure your defense is impregnable today, got it? Today's trial. I'm gonna expose that guy for what he's done, or my name isn't Phoenix Wright. It'd be Phoenix wrong! Court is now in session for the trial of Maggie Bird. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Ready and waiting as always, Your Honor. Very good. Then we'll get underway at once. Yesterday, we heard the testimony of Mr. Victor Kudo. He claimed to have witnessed the defendant putting a powder into the victim's coffee. Oh, hey, cat. Jump scared me by jumping up in my lap. He claimed to have witnessed the defendant putting a powder in the victim's coffee. I don't know why I'm giving you an accent all of a sudden. However, the witness's testimony was plagued with a number of problems. The mark on the rim of the cup shows the victim drank from it with his right hand. But according to the old man's testimony, he picked it up with his left hand. Thank you, Mr. Godot. Furthermore, according to the witness's account, the victim was listening to the radio with an earpiece in his left ear. Yeah, the victim's left eardrum was ruptured, which made him effectively deaf in that ear. It's amazing how many contradictions a single case can have, huh, Nick? Yeah, it'd just be nice if it wasn't like that. Allow me to enlighten you, Your Honor. The world, you see, keeps turning, and we must turn with it. You've lost me already, Mr. Godot. I don't know what it is with this cat. He keeps... like, trying to scratch up my PS5 box? I don't know why. I was doing that last episode, too. If you watched last episode, when I had to cut to go deal with my cat. Don't let the mysteries of yesterday's mystify you today. Only losers think like that. You've got to change with the times. That's one of my rules. Are you implying that you've resolved the contradictions? You know the answers to these riddles. The old guy wasn't just throwing seeds in here. He was throwing us off the scent. And today I'll prove it. Are you trying to say that he's working with them? Because according to Maggie, it was Violetta, presumably. We don't know for certain. But it was a girl who was the other, customer and not Victor. So, I mean, if that's the case, if everyone's all working together, you know, Armstrong, Kudo, and Phony Phoenix, Don Tigre, I guess it would make sense why their testimonies don't match up with Maggie's. If they were all in on it. Very well, let the first witness take the stand. And you are? Well, bonjour, everyone! I am Jean Armstrong, the owner and chef of Le Tresvien restaurant. Enchanté! Forgive me for asking, witness, but, are you a woman? Oh la la, monsieur! As you can see, I am La Perte and perky gentleman known. On the day of the... On the day of the incident, you were in Trivian's kitchen. Isn't that right? With you, monsieur! Everything feels right. Second cup of coffee. Wow, he's totally unfazed. Doesn't anything intimidate this guy? Very well. Your testimony phase, please, witness. Please have the court wrote happened that day at Tribune. Oui, volunteers. I'm gonna have to learn French just to read your dialogue. What it all happened is there was just 2 customers in my restaurant. I remember I was experimenting with some new art decos that day. Like having a large mirror between the tables, for example. Oui, perhaps that is what the old man was looking at. Look up, the earpiece and the glasses. They would have seen everything in reverse, don't? What? A mirror? Oui, one grand mirror. The most enormous mirror. And suddenly, the mystery disappears. No, because he would have been seeing double. Like I said, the world keeps turning, so roll with it. That would explain the coffee cup and the earpiece conundrum. The mirror would have made everything appear back to front. What the heck? It's way too early in the morning for this to be happening to me. Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Yeah, that's a very shaky... I just noticed your beard, by the way, dude. And who were the 2 customers, exactly? Lies, of course. The young man who died. And the other, not so young man. You're referring to yesterday's witness, presume? What about the other man Maggie says she saw at the table? Something tells me Mr. Armstrong isn't planning to disclose his existence. We need some hard evidence first before we can bring him up, don't we? I guess I'll just have to try a different approach for the time being. Hey, kitty. Here's some new art decoration. You were experimenting with art deco? How come I never heard about that before today? You are not familiar with the language of interior design, monsieur? Please stay on topic. Now, why didn't you tell the court about this before? But I did, just a few moments ago. I guess, but... Excuse me, Mr. Armstrong. This deco you mentioned, are you referring to some sort of decoction? No, art deco. It's a style of design, Your Honor. He's talking about interior design. Walls, ceiling, carpets, that kind of thing. Oh, yes, of course. A deco. I was trying to achieve a more live, feminine look for my restaurant. I was planning the most bold remodeling of le decor. Okay, a large mirror set between tables. Wait, that wouldn't make any sense at all. He wouldn't be able to see past the mirror. Unless you mean... like a diagonally set mirror. Ow! That's gonna knock the earphones out of my ear. Yeah, let's try to like a diagonal, not diagonally set, but the mirror... No, that wouldn't make sense because he couldn't walk to the table. No, this whole thing just doesn't make any sense. How big a mirror are we talking here? Boof! Something about 4 meters wide and, about 2 meters high. Sorry, I'm American, I don't know what that is. 1 second. 4 meters, 2 feet. 13 feet! And 2 meters. 6 feet? Dog, it's bigger than me. There's no way. I don't buy this mirror story. Unless there's something in my head that I'm not imagining correctly, but the story ain't working for me. Let's see, if 1 meter's about 1 yard. Holy glass in a frame, that's huge. I was intending to install it on the ceiling eventually. The ceiling? Is there a mirror on the ceiling? I don't remember. Lies known, but I decided not to go through with it in the end. What should I do? Should I ask him more about the mirror? Absolutely press harder. If you really had such a large mirror in the restaurant, someone would have noticed it. But there's nothing about a mirror in Mr. Kudo or Maggie Bird's testimonies. But...
Objection!
You didn't ask, right? You have only yourself to blame for such sloppy work. What? The mirror was delivered to Trey Bien the day before the incident. Really? As Mr. Armstrong testified, he was carrying out some design changes. And as it turned out, he didn't actually use the mirror in the end. That just doesn't add up. Even if a mirror was delivered to Trey Bien, it doesn't prove that it was in the restaurant on the day of this crime. If you want to doubt someone, try it, look in the mirror. I'm sure the person looking back at you will be dubious enough. So the witness said I had seen the victim reflected in a mirror. No, that doesn't make any sense! At all! Not at all! Because if it was placed in between, you said it was in between the tables. He wouldn't be able to see past it. And if we were to put the mirror behind him, he would have been seeing double, and very obviously it's a mirror because he can see himself reflected. Am I just thinking about this wrong, or does this story make absolutely no sense? Normally, I'd expect people to know the difference between a reflection and a real object. Yeah, exactly! Normally. How does normality come into this? That's lame, Tright. Even for you. Huh? Are you trying to say that if something isn't normal, it isn't possible? Is that it? Where does that leave the poker-headed lawyer and the top-knot chick over there? And the ungodly cool guy with the mask over here? Well, Tright? Yeah, not the hair! I don't have a top knot. I mean... Mr. Godot is correct. The lack of normality is no basis for discounting an argument. Bien, logic is one la day. I must be thinking about this wrong. Maybe this makes sense some way, but in my head I can't imagine a single way a mirror would cause this. Everything? You would have seen everything in reverse? Wee! Hey Nick, we should take a second to think about what old CD said in his testimony. Right, because he thought he saw the guy's vase spill, but it was his own. But because the mirror was all the way over there, he thought it was his table? Yeah, he was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. Oh, yeah, but if it was in reverse, that wouldn't matter, because it's the same side, which is his left side, right? Yeah. And then he used the same hand to pick up the cup. If he saw everything he described reflected in the mirror, then everything he said he saw on the left was actually on the right, huh? And that clears up all the problems with his testimony, I guess. Or does it? Huh. It's kind of hard to believe everything is the fault of a mirror, but... Do you think old CD saw everything through a reflection? If he did, it would explain all the contradictions in his testimony. That just makes the situation worse for Maggie. There's gotta be something in that old man's testimony. We just gotta dig deeper. Is that why no one saw the other guy? Because he was hidden behind a mirror? Yeah, everything would have been in reverse. Do we just present Glenn's, thing? Because... I don't think so. He would have seen himself, right? It's one of these two, I think. Because I don't have any evidence that, like, proves this wrong exactly. We also don't know where he was sitting. But Yeah, because look, no matter where he's sitting, how's a mirror going to reflect it in a way where he can't tell he's looking in a mirror? No, there's literally no way. Because he's sitting on that side. You guys can't see, but I'm pointing. He's sitting on that side. If there was a mirror behind him, sure, it would have looked in reverse, but he would have seen double. That's the only way he would have seen it. So... yeah, exactly. Do you see a mirror anywhere there? But... I don't know. I don't know, something about this doesn't add up to me. I'm saving real quick, though, because if I lose all my lives here, I don't have to sit through all that again. Okay, let's try Glenn. Okay, I didn't have to think so hard about it. I was right the first time. The coffee cup, the earpiece, and the HMD. Let's think back over Mr. Kudo's testimony for a second, shall we? The boy's wearing an earpiece on the same side of as the green lens of his specs. No question, you can lock me up if I'm wrong. It was his left ear without a doubt. So, to summarize, we were told both the HMD and the earpiece were on the victim's left side. Now, if Mr. Kudo saw all that as a reflection in the mirror, yeah, it'd be on his right side. It means both the HMD and the earpiece were actually on the victim's right side. Exactamente! You see, monsieur, now that you think about it, it is not so hard, no? No. Unfortunately, that's not where we run into a monumental contradiction with the facts. If Mr. Kudo really did see everything in a mirror, why is it the HMD is now on the wrong side of his head? Order! Mr. Wright is correct. If the witness genuinely observed the victim reflected in a mirror, then we would expect the victim's eyepiece to have been over to his right eye. Objection. Third cup of coffee. How bitter. Trats, you should have a taste of this bitterness. It'll calm you down in no time. Are we talking about your coffee, or something completely different? You don't understand the way the witness thinks. How he thinks? You remember this, I presume? Yeah, the I broke the vase, sorry, apology, Mr. Kudo's sworn testimony? Exactly. The old man has one very grievous habit, other than throwing seeds. The more of an impression something makes, the more muddled his mind makes it. And what's the most striking thing about Mr. Elg? Clearly it's the victim's eyepiece. And that's my point. The old man strikes again. Mr. Elg's HMD made one big impression on the old man. I saw the earpiece and those newfangled spectacles he was wearing. Oh yes, they were both on his left ear, do you hear? His left ear! That's a very, very shoddy defense. That's the worst, but best impression of Kudo ever. Wow, I really thought he was old CD for a minute there. Kudo's good. Enough. I must agree that yesterday's witness was irresponsibly rash in much of his testimony. Bad luck, Nick. It's like the boil of a contradiction you found just a rash. A mirror can't be beaten by a handful of seeds, nor can it lie. So, what exactly was the old man looking at? Fill us in, Mr. Armstrong. Go on, tell the court. We're all ears. Oui, I can explain. Please, if you will look at le plan of le restaurant. None of this is adding up to me, like, at all. But if you say so. My lords, is everyone sitting comfortably? Le mirror, it was the middle of the restaurant. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. So, what the heck, dude? There's no way. Unless you're saying you look through the mirror and it reflects what's on the other side. Which is... that's not how a mirror works. But... Le mirror, it was in the middle of the restaurant, dividing the two halves. There's one seat from which you could have seen an image of the victim. So he was sitting there? I mean, okay, I guess in that case, he would see it in reverse. Okay, sure, I see it. Fine. The game had me believing he was sitting on one of those two seats down there. Okay. Okay. Fine. We'll go with this story for now. There's only one seat for which you could have seen an image of the victim. That was the seat at the table next to the victims. That was where the old man was sitting. After the terrible incident occurred, I moved the mirror so it was not in the way. But naturally, I did not touch anything else. That is not true. I already called your BS on that one. You see no explanations, huh? Or no issues? From the table next to the victim, Mr. Kudo could have seen the victim in the mirror. What a naughty little coquette I am, confusing all the men like this. Don't worry about it. We can keep up, except for the guy breaking out in a cold sweat over there again. Ah, I hate that guy. You said you didn't touch anything else apart from... Why am I using my Godot voice? You said you didn't touch anything else apart from the mirror. Are you quite sure about that? Volunteers, of course! Very well, Mr. Wright. Your cross-examination, if you please. Sorry, I keep doing Godot's voice for some reason. Man in the mirror. The mirror, it was in the middle of the restaurant, dividing the two halves. Oh wait, we're doing cross-examination. So, run this by me again. The mirror was here, correct? We, really? Because I know if I were you, I wouldn't put a mirror there. It'd be in the way.
Objection!
Look who's talking, Trite. Huh? You're obstructing my view, among other things. But, this is my seat in the courtroom. Caribbean's charm is that it gives you the impression that you're the only customer. Is it? Temporarily placing a mirror in that spot would hardly be in the way. Unlike you, Trite. I tell you, Monsieur, the mirror was there in the middle of the restaurant. Can Maggie back that up? Because she never said a thing about a mirror. And where would that be? Ooh la la, look how you lean towards me. I always attracted as the younger boys. Maybe I should keep you in suspense a little longer. Mr. Armstrong, let the court you know at once. I attract the older ones too, you know. Handsome. Shall I tease you too? Ugh. Is that your fourth cup? I'm already seeing a very hot someone, so I'm afraid you'll be waiting a long time. Because she has mocha cream skin and cappuccino perfume. Bien, I'll tell you, there was only one seat for what you could have seen. Hold it. So, why can you only see the victim from that particular seat? Lies, Monsieur, it is obvious, none. If you look at the plans, you'll understand. The victim would have been reflected in the mirror like so. If you were sitting at the table next to him, you would have seen everything, none. That's the seat old City was sitting on that day, when the poisoning happened. The old man was sitting at a table next to the victim? Why does that seem kind of odd? Because that's not what we were told. Like, I may be misremembering, but I swear we were told that... Where's the floor plans? I believe we were told he was sitting on the opposite ends. I think even Victor said that himself. Though, he may have been confused because he was looking in the mirror and he thought he was looking diagonally across, maybe? I don't know. I think my cat once let out. 1 second. Alright, now that I'm free of cat distractions, let's get back to the trial. Did you move the mirror while Mr. Kudo was off calling the police? Oui, exactement. I carried it out of the restaurant then. You moved a huge mirror like that all by yourself. What can I say? I know how to pick things up, handsome. Kudo actually laughed at something. Well, given the witness's physique, I suppose it is possible. Did you move anything else from the crime scene, Mr. Armstrong? I look like the obliging type, none. You did not touch anything else. That is... absolute malarkey. Are you sure about that? I have nothing except the mirror. Mr. Wright, is there something with the witness said that it doesn't match a crime scene? Yeah, there is. I just can't put my finger on what exactly. Really? Suffer from a case of heartburn, right? Oh, I have just a thing for that. I know it was golden mirror and Frankenstein's. Add a few drops to your coffee and voila, enjoy. Ah, focus, Phoenix. Breathe. I need to ignore those two and just find some evidence. It is pretty strange, though, isn't it? I mean, nobody mentioned anything about a really large mirror. You'd think someone would have, but Maggie didn't, and neither did old City. then the only logical explanation is... Sorry, I'm adjusting my mic real quick. But there was no mirror inside Trivia that day. Now I've just gotta prove it. Somehow. Okay, well, first off... Oh, crap. Didn't touch anything else. I call... Horsey Hooey. No? But you took the lottery ticket. We've established that. Oh, crap. Well... You didn't touch anything else, huh? Did you take the sports paper? Oh, you took the medicine bottle. God! Frickin' stop pressing press! Okay, you took the medicine bottle. No? Do I need to do the bag? Because we know you took it. It was in your kitchen. Well, okay, it's unidentified fingerprints. We don't know if it was you that put it in there. Okay, I just had to try it. You... After the turbulence didn't occur, you moved the mirror. Naturally, you didn't touch anything else. I mean, I don't see a mirror here. But that was after the crime scene, right? You moved the mirror so it wasn't in the way. Payment was due last year. Is in the middle of the restaurant dividing the two halves. It's gotta be something with this. The sports paper? Nothing else was missing from the crime scene. Actually, you didn't touch anything else. I know that's not true. But... I can't... I don't even anything about the mirror. He's gotta prove it. Do I just use the picture? Showing that there was no mirror? But he said he moved it. Yeah, that's what I thought. He said he moved it. Yeah, it's because I'm not very sure. Huh. Oh, I'm all the way back here. I'll be right back when I catch up. Oh, I think I get it. I need to look at this picture real quick. Yeah, the vase is still there. So I don't believe it. Yeah, so... Yeah, the piece of evidence contradicts the testimony we just heard, Your Honor. Because, I knew it was wrong when he said that he was sitting right there. And I was thinking about how he broke the vase. I just didn't realize that the picture proved that point. A crime photo? Yes, this photo clearly shows something that that theoretically should not exist. What on earth do you mean by that, Mr. Wright? Should not exist. Sounds like you're describing yourself, Trite. Thanks. Now then, if the defense would please clarify its statement. I'm talking about the vase. Take that! I think it's pretty obvious that this is what should not be in the picture. The vase? What possible connection does that have to do with this witness's testimony? Your Honor, I'm telling you that there should have been no vase on this table. Because it very clearly contradicts with this piece of evidence. There's one thing that was clearly demonstrated by yesterday's testimony. Mr. Kudo broke the vase that was on the table where he was sitting. And yet, as the court can see, there's an unbroken vase on the table next to the victim. Why? Because Mr. Kudo was not, in fact, sitting at the table next to the victim at all. Don't be an idiot, Trat. That's impossible. That seat's the only one Kudo could have seen the victim's reflection from. Exactly. There's only one conclusion we can draw from this contradiction. There was no mirror in the Tribune that day. Your testimony, Mr. Armstrong, is an elaborate lie. Mon Dieu! Don't try to confuse the court, Trat. Obviously, the witness cleaned up the vase, while the police were taking the time getting to the crime scene. Unfortunately, Mr. Godot, that doesn't quite work for me. Mr. Armstrong already testified to the contrary. In his own words, I did not touch anything else except the mirror. Speed drinking. Well, witness, what do you have to say for yourself? Stifle. I was right. There was no mirror in the restaurant that day. In light of this revelation, we returned back to the original problem. Why did the victim have an earpiece in an ear which he couldn't hear? You only get one shot in life. There's no turning back. If you want to claim that the mirror wasn't there, Trite, then this problem is all yours. How do you explain what the old man saw? If I can answer this, then I'll be that much closer to the truth. I can feel it. Are you gonna be okay? Can you really solve this contradiction, Nick? There's more than just this one contradiction, Maya. What do you mean? Remember what Maggie told us? There was another man at the victim's table. And there was a sample CD on the victim's table. It all flies in the face of Mr. Kudo's testimony. And I think I know the reason why nothing in this case is adding up. Well, Mr. Wright, let's hear your answer. Yes, Your Honor. The reason behind all the contradictions in Mr. Kudo's testimony is simple. The victim was a phony? Your doctor made a mistake? I mean, I guess it's because Mr. Kudo made a mistake. The victim is most definitely not a phony. What sense would that make? Yeah, no, what sense would that make? I was thinking about how this could potentially be a thing, but no, it's just Mr. Kudo made a mistake. Clearly, Mr. Kudo made a mistake. Mr. Trite, you're the one who brought up all these contradictions. And? If you're trying to tell us the old man just made a mistake, we can wrap this case right now with a guilty verdict. How about it, Mr. Wright? Should I just declare your client guilty? Is that the best you can come up with, Nick? Well, what do you want me to say? I'm sorry, Your Honor. I was the one who made a mistake. I should just drop a save. I'll give you one more chance, Mr. Wright. Think carefully before you answer this time. Yes, Your Honor. The ear doctor made a mistake. No. I guess the victim was a phony? This case is riddled with contradictions. Yet, there's one very simple answer that clears them all up. And what is that? The incident Mr. Kudo witnessed and the incident the victim experienced were two completely different events. What? Yes, the victim that Mr. Kudo saw wasn't Mr. Glenn Elg at all. It was an imposter. A phony pretending to be Mr. Elg. Obviously, unlike the victim, there's nothing wrong with the imposter's left eardrum. And that's how he ended up wearing the earpiece in his left ear by mistake. I mean, we're just gonna go with that? I mean, now that I think about it a little more, that does make a lot of sense why nothing adds up. Because, Maggie said that, a girl was there. So, like, of course these have to be two separate occasions, but... Settle down, or I'll clear the courtroom. Quiet, Gramps, why don't you clear out of here, huh? What did you say? Tract, are you saying that Mr. Kudo saw was a sit-up? Yes. Someone pretending to be Glenn Elgin acted out the whole coffee poisoning. All for the express purpose of creating a witness out of one Mr. Victor Kudo. Get real, Tract. Why would anyone want to do that? Isn't it obvious? Oh! When Mr. Kudo went to go call the police, that's when the real murder took place, yeah? The thing Mr. Kudo was most insistent about in his testimony was... Servant girl brought him a Javashino, but she put something in it. That's the servant girl right there in the defendant's chair. I remember her well. It's so hard to believe, but... There was one and only one reason to show Mr. Kudo this fake poisoning. Oh, wait a minute! That's not Maggie! Oh, that's not Maggie! That's Violetta! Oh crap, I just hit my control on the table. To show Maggie Bird in the act of poisoning the coffee. Are you insinuating that the witness in the old man's story was a fake as well? It's true that there were no other customers in the restaurant at the time, but... It's also true that the chef was there. He would have noticed what was happening. That's right. Well, witness, if your restaurant really was the scene of such theatrics, you would have known about it, correct? Ooh la la, this is most difficult for me. No, it's quite simple. All you have to do is testify. You are under oath, after all. Was there, in fact, a phony at Tribune that day? The defense demands that Mr. Armstrong tell the whole truth about what happened. The defense's request for additional testimony is accepted. You will accurately explain in detail the events in the restaurant that day. We... In the restaurant. The victim, Monsieur Elg, he came to the restaurant alone. I remember the old man arrived not long after him. There was no other customers. When he got word he won lottery, Wait. Oh, Monsieur Elg became very excited. It was approximately 5 minutes later that the poisoning incident occurred. No, there was no time for a phony to do the acting. Just so we're clear, there was no mirror in the restaurant after all. Jim was demand pardon. Forgive me, Your Honor. I lied because I wanted these mess to be cleared up quickly. What you have just done is commit perjury, Mr. Armstrong. I will decide how to punish you later. Oof. For now, we will hear your cross-examination. Mr. Wright, if you please. I took that perjury charge a bit too well. But I'm guessing you'll be in more serious trouble after this cross-examination. Okay. Came to your restaurant alone. Was he alone at his table as well? My sweet, I saw him from the kitchen. Yet the defendant, Miss Bird, remembers it differently. She swears there's another man at the victim's table. Huh, unfortunately for you, Trite. Yesterday's witness also testified that the victim was alone. You know, seeing you squirm like that reminds me of a certain coffee's bittersweet bite. What kind of coffee's been drinking? It's not coffee, it's love. It's love that's bittersweet. Hearing Maya say that makes her seem wise all of a sudden. By old man, you mean Victor Kudo, correct? Oui, it comes often for my special coffee. I drank your coffee once, Mr. Armstrong. It's special, I'll give you that. It's worth a sip just for the experience. Oh, you make me so happy, monsieur. You are most welcome anytime. I said it was worth one sip, and nothing more. So, old Mr. Kudo arrived at the restaurant at the same time as the victim. Maybe I should ask about his arrival in more detail. Okay, what time was it? Out of curiosity, about what time was it when Mr. Kudo arrived? Oh no, I cannot remember, monsieur. I believe we were told by a witness yesterday. Crime says we're at 2:25. So that means that he died at 2:20. Does that perhaps jog your memory, witness? The land appeared about 20 minutes after he arrived. So the victim must have arrived between 2 and 2:10 p.m., none? Just after 2, huh? Thank you for your help in jogging my memory, monsieur. You are wonderful. Haha, I can't stay here all the time and do nothing now, can I? The time of the day will be added to the witness's testimony. Okay, so that's the issue. Merci bien. That's French, isn't it? Glad this one person's in a good mood. He's even having a song to himself. So this is incorrect, because the murder happened at 1:30 when he won the lottery, right? Are you absolutely sure about the time? When I think really hard, I am sure it was just after 2. Oui. It's just the time I stopped serving the lunch menu. Quite right, I always break for lunch when the restaurants are serving their specials. I've been known to wind up a case early just to make it on time. Huh. I guess you should never get between a hungry judge and his lunch. Oh, would you look at that? It's almost lunchtime already. Witness! Get on with your testimony, please. There's no other customers. So your only customers were Mr. Kudo and the victim. What are you objecting to this time? How many times I have to tell you? Do you need to ask the same thing, right? You never catch me drinking the same blend twice. Huh? You're trying to establish the presence of a phony victim in the restaurant. But you're wasting your time. You can't grind birdseed to make coffee. You catch my drift? But there's a hole in his testimony somewhere. I'm sure of it. Did you see him? No, I was in the kitchen, but I heard him. I remember him shouting, "Yes, $500,000! Presumably the defendant heard that too, then, correct? Maggie. She looked like a poor little frightened dove. And what about Mr. Kudo? The old man choked on some birdseed that got stuck in his throat. It seems we now have yet another incident on our hands. 5 minutes later, the poisoning occurred. And what were you doing at that point? Without any customers, you must have had time to kill. I'm a multi-talented woman, monsieur. Sorry, what do you mean? There's a renowned chef, Jean Armstrong, and the tragic poet, Clarice Armstrong. Clarice? I was writing a poem, an angry tale of chef and $500,000 of debt. Cooking for a man who won $500,000 on the lottery. It is called Pourquoi. It means why. Perhaps I could recite it for the court. Please don't. You mean you contacted the police as soon as the incident occurred? I asked the old man to call from the payphone. My own argument, right? The purpose of this phony victim's performance was so the old man would see it. In other words, once the incident occurred, the opportunity would completely disappear. Indeed. Bien, it seems the shadow of doubt has been lifted, c'est pas? I guess Mr. Armstrong is connected to this case, huh? Oh, absolutely. Someone was impersonating Mr. Elg, and I refuse to believe he's oblivious. He was there the whole time, after all. But if you're right, wouldn't Maggie have noticed, too? She fell unconscious when the incident occurred, remember? You mean that's when the phony staged his act? We'll know for sure once I find a hole in his testimony. Okay, it's just after 2 p.m. I call shenanigans because... Objection! I'm afraid I finally got you, Mr. Armstrong. What do you mean? At the time in question, the victim was listening to the radio with his earpiece. The show he was listening to is Millionaire Radio. Each week, they announce the winning numbers on the $500,000 lottery ticket. Oui, ça m'a see the show Monsieur Elg was listening to. I can't see any problem with this testimony, Mr. Wright. I wonder. You say the victim arrived at your restaurant after 2 p.m., correct? Oui, I am sure of it. I remember it perfectly now. I knew it was that time because I had just finished serving the lunch menu. Get to the point, Wright, if you have one. That show is broadcast live at 1:30 p.m. And it claims to be the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life. It's only aired at 1:30. Now, supposedly, the victim made some noise when it was announced that he'd won. And yet, I don't believe his cry of joy could have occurred after 2 p.m. Because the show already finished more than 30 minutes earlier by that point in time. None! This victim we've been told about has done nothing but the impossible. Listening to the radio with a ruptured eardrum, catching a show that was already over. There's only one conclusion you can draw from these facts. This victim was an imposter, acting out the poisoning 30 minutes after the real murder. So there's two possibilities. Either Armstrong knew about both things going on, or he wasn't in the restaurant at 1:30. Yes, there were two Glen Elgs in Tribune that day. The real Glen Elg, now dead, having been poisoned by the real killer. And the phony Glen Elg acting out the events for Mr. Kudo to witness. It certainly seems that way. I mean, if it wasn't the case, how would you explain this time discrepancy? Fine performance, Trite. You were almost on a roll. But sadly, you lack the rock-hard foundation of rhythm to build your song. What is this? Music Theory 101? Let's recap. According to your imaginative theory, it is now just after 2 p.m. The phony elk is performing a play for the benefit of Mr. Kudo. How do you explain, then, where the real Glen Elg is? I don't believe I have to spell this out for the court. However, at that time, the real Glen Elg was already dead. That's certainly the obvious conclusion. Thank you, Trite. That's exactly what I was hoping you would say. What? Now, I presume you can prove this theory of yours. Can you explain where the missing corpse went to? The missing corpse? According to the old man's testimony, there was only one other customer there. If that customer was the phony Glen Elg. Then where did the killer hide the body of the real victim? Ah! The prosecution is a valid point, Mr. Wright. If your theory is to stand up to examination by the court, you must provide us with the proof of answering the prosecution's question. Where did the killer hide the body? Yes, Your Honor. No conjecture, Trite. Let's hear some facts for once. Show the court a piece of evidence that proves that the body was hidden. Evidence? Well, what's with the intense pressure in here all of a sudden? I thought I had him with the contradiction. But he's turned it around and backed me into the corner instead. Well, Mr. Wright, the court will now hear the defense's theory and evidence. First, where was the body of the real Mr. L concealed? It would have to be... That's a good question. I don't know. That's the thing, I don't know. Outside? Tribune? But, well, no, it'd have to be inside. Because they had to switch out the fake Glenn with the real Glenn. It'd have to be too dangerous to take the body outside. Obviously, the body must have been hidden somewhere inside Tribune. Interesting. But where could a body have been hidden inside a restaurant? Perhaps you would care to show the court in these plans, Mr. Wright? Well, it'd be in the kitchen. I guess. The body was hidden here. I see. That's the position. But the real question is, can you back it up? Where's the evidence that proves the body was hidden in that location? It's a bottle! His medicine bottle! Mr. Armstrong, do you recognize this bottle? None. I've never seen that ugly bottle in my life before. I only use the very best bottles, monsieur. It's the highest quality only for me. Where was that bottle found, Mr. Wright? Interestingly enough, Your Honor, it was found in the kitchen at Tribune. Quoi? But I only ever use these bottles for my aromatherapy oils. But this bottle doesn't contain aromatherapy oil, Mr. Armstrong. No, it contains a medication. What kind of medication? I'm sure everyone remembers, don't they? That Mr. Elk visited an ear clinic and was given medicine that day? You can't be serious. The defense had the contents of the bottle analyzed, and I have the lab results right here. The contents of the bottle matched the prescription that was given to Mr. Elk. Glen Elk's murderer hid the body in the restaurant kitchen, at which time this bottle fell out of the victim's pocket. Mr. Armstrong, when the incident occurred, didn't you say you were in the kitchen? Mon Dieu! Yes, you know what I'm about to say. It was you who hit the victim's body. You did a fine job pretending to defend my client, Maggie Bird. However, you were setting her up to take the fall behind the poor girl's back. Non! Order! This is an extraordinary development. Witness, did you murder Mr. Glenn Elg? Never! I could not do such an horrible thing. No! Oh, what's up with Godot? Mr. Godot? The bitterness. Every time I get lied to, I always down a mug of coffee. That's one of my rules. Do you have the slightest idea how many cups you've had by now? Then I like to do the same to the person who lied to me. I like to take him down with my empty cup. Listen up, chef. How about a brand new flavor in your air, my H-deficient friend? Je vous demande pardon? Please, you must hear me out. It is a trap. Listen to me. Por favor. You hablo español, Mr. Armstrong, and por favor is Spanish. I'm only going to ask you once. Did you do it? None! None! Absolutely none! It's simply... Let's hear it. You've got one shot. Right, Gramps? Witness, the court will permit you the chance to make one final statement. If you lie under oath again, Mr. Godot's coffee mug awaits you. As is my gavel. Oui, it is clear. What do they always say in the movies? I've got a bad feeling about this. Very well, begin your final testimony. The confession. It is true, I hid the body in the kitchen. A man forced me to do it. I had no choice. I had to go along with him because there was a reason why I could not refuse. But I did not kill him. I swear it. You must believe me. So it's the tiger in your debt. You were forced. By who? I cannot say, or I would be erased. Let's try a different question, then. When Mr. Elk died, was he really the only person at his table? There was another man. I knew it. Maggie was telling the truth. You may cross-examine the witness now, Mr. Wright. There's just one more thing I need to do. I gotta break this guy and get him to tell us the name of the real killer. Alright. Hold it! Did you carry the body by yourself? I carried him, and I carried Maggie too. Maggie too? When she saw the victim collapse, she fainted. I could not leave her there. But why did you hide the bodies? A man forced me to do it. I had no choice. What man? Who was he? None, I cannot say. I fear for my life. He's really scared. You just have to put the words in his mouth, Nick. Yeah, you're right. If you won't tell me, I'll tell him. But why would you go along with this man? I had to go along with him because there's a reason he could not refuse. And what reason would that be, Mr. Armstrong? You know, monsieur. Yes? Surely you cannot expect a young maiden to talk about such an embarrassment? A maiden? You're a bit old to get away with that. And a bit too male. I can't finish the cross-examination without establishing his reason. So I'll just have to prove it with evidence. Okay, well, I believe you didn't kill him. So you're claiming that all you did was hide the bodies, is that correct? Oui, that's right. If we are to believe you, Mr. Armstrong, you must tell the court everything. You must make clear the identity of the man who ordered you to do this. He's already confessed this much. You might as well stop dancing around the real issue. Yeah, but he really doesn't want to tell us who the killer is. Then sock it to him, Nick. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. An offer you couldn't refuse, huh? You have a $500,000 debt, don't you? $500,000? Is this true, Mr. Armstrong? Oui, je suis désolé. I was weak and I borrowed the money. This is Mr. Armstrong's Achilles heel. And that's why you couldn't refuse anything asked of you by this man. A $500,000 loan from a black market loan shark. And you had no way of paying it back, did you? That's why you were forced to do anything. This man told you. It is as you say. Mr. Armstrong. That tiger. He told me he was going to use my restaurant for a business rendezvous. On the day in question, he was meeting the victim to demand that he repay his loan. I don't know why it happened like that. I just did what he told me to do. I had no choice. I carried the body and the inconscient Maggie out of the dining area, and into the kitchen. After that, I just tried to forget what I had seen. I think we can now safely say that the man who forced your hand was Mr. Furio Tigre. I do have one further question for you, Mr. Armstrong. The poison and the lottery ticket that were found in the defendant's apron pocket. Was that your doing as well? No, I knew nothing about that. Making it look like it was Maggie who had done it. I was not. It is despicable. Mr. Godot. You will summon this Furio Tigre as a witness. I doubt that this can be arranged today, so we'll have to adjourn for now. Proceedings will continue tomorrow. Tomorrow? 30 minutes. What? The trial will go on. I'll see to it myself. I need half an hour to get the guy on the stand, not a minute more. How the... Don't sit back and relax yet, Trat. No one knows if that chef is really telling the truth or not. This trial could still go either way. Very well. Your request is granted, Mr. Godot. We'll resume once Mr. Tigre is ready to take the stand. Until then, court is adjourned for a 30-minute recess. My throat is killing me, and I have to record Persona 3 after this. However, in terms of Ace Attorney, we will continue this trial next time. Thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, like or subscribe button down below. Don't forget to check my channel, and if you're streaming live on Twitch or something to stream live, you can check out that link down in the description below. One thing to watch again, I will catch all of you in the next one. So take care.